Companion planting can be a very strong form of support for your garden, managing the health of your plants by attracting in the beneficial insects, predators that help manage the ever-increasing number of pests that want to eat your plants, which is really important, really, really like life-changingly important sometimes. So these predators are good. Companion plants that will attract those in. We need those in our garden. It also provides physical support as well. So you can get things like plants that provide shade for the rest of your plants in your garden, structure for them as well, so the climbers can climb them, that side of things as well. So they can also provide physical support as well as attracting beneficial insects, pollinators, things like that. And to say the physical cover, when the plants you choose for companion planting, when they create shade for your plants, in the summer, if it's like the summer we've just had, can cut you a lot of slack when it comes to managing your garden and reduce the amount of stress and heat stress, if you like, your plant suffers. So that's really nice as well. Here are some easy to grow and maintain companion plants to include in your garden this year, 2023, and they can provide a lot of extra support beyond the point of just companion planting. So we have got marigolds, so French marigolds, pot marigolds, English marigolds, whatever you want to do, marigolds, borage. One of my favourites, I love borage in the garden, and it does spread like wildfire. Nasturtiums and herbs such as mint, sage, basil, and thyme. So these are all quite easy to grow. Marigolds are great little self-seeding wonders. The bees love them. Marigolds I've got them kind of all over the garden because they self-seed everywhere. And the bees love them. They absolutely love them. Hoverflies love them. Butterflies love them. So they're really good at attracting in the beneficial insects. They work wonders. So these plants can be invasive if you're just looking to introduce them, or they've been growing in your garden, whatever, and you're looking to manage them, shall we say. It's a good idea to grow them in pots. Keep them under control, grow them in pots if you can, especially mint. Sage and, as I said, basil, where it's a bit more of an annual, not so much of an issue. But mint definitely, and marigolds definitely, 100%. Grow them in pots if you can, because otherwise they will take over your garden. Not always a bad thing if you've got a big enough garden, but if you're limited on space, it can be a bit difficult. Marigolds, borage, and nasturtiums are extremely attractive with pollinators like bees, butterflies, all sorts of things. Moths love them and can increase the pollination rate of your plants growing around them. If you plant them in your veg patch, which is what they tend to be growing a lot in my veg patch, whether I've planted them there or not, that's where they tend to grow. So they do grow a lot in my veg patch. If you plant them in your veg patch or in your in with your tomatoes and peppers in your greenhouse, they can tolerate quite decent heat as well. So it's not so bad. You think they will, especially French marigolds, they will grow quite happily in a greenhouse. You are nearly guaranteed to improve the pollination rate, if you like, for the plants in your greenhouse or plants around them in general, if they're outside or inside. So that will guarantee that you get a heftier crop of vegetables as well. I grow French marigolds in my greenhouse with my tomatoes and peppers, and they always do a really good job of attracting in the hoverflies, bees, and all sorts of things. Once they've pollinated the marigolds, they then move to the peppers and then to the tomatoes. So they move around the greenhouse. They don't just stop at the marigold and then leave. They'll pollinate everything in the greenhouse, or as much as they possibly can. So marigolds work very well for this. Nasturtiums, they tend to grow in hanging baskets. They do a nice little trail down. But the bees love them because they're all bright orange flowers. So, marigolds. Marigolds can also repel insects from your plants. Whitefly hate them, which is amazing. So if you've got an issue with whitefly in your garden, marigolds are the key in any way, shape, or form. Whitefly hate them, so they will strongly repel. If you ever crunched a marigold leaf or brushed past that bigger plant of a marigold plant, like when they get quite mature, they've got a sort of I want to say a citrusy kind of smell to them. This is kind of the oils in the marigold is what repels the insects. So whitefly don't like them, so it's a really good repellent for whitefly. Nasturtiums can lure aphids to them like a sacrificial plant. I also use sunflowers in the garden as a sacrificial plant because they're so strong and sturdy. Nasturtiums aren't as strong, I will say, but they do an incredibly good job of attracting in the aphids. So they attract the aphids to the plant, and then the natural predators like ladybirds, we've got lacewings and things like that, the larvae, they will then go straight to the source, if you like, straight to the nasturtiums to feed. They won't have to search the garden for the plants with the aphids on. They will know where they are. They'll go straight to them. It's like a buffet for them, if you like. So then you're keeping the aphids away from the rest of your garden. The nasturtiums will keep growing because they're like that. They will keep seeding and they will keep growing, but the aphids will feed on the nasturtiums, and then the predators will feed on the aphids. So they're really good sacrificial plants like that. Okay, so borage, as I say, as well as being a fantastic attractor for bees and other pollinators, borage can also feed your garden, the plants growing around them. Borage is a dynamic accumulator. So the way borage works is a dynamic accumulator. The taproot goes down into the deep subsoil. It will then collect the nutrients the root will then collect the nutrients from the subsoil, which isn't readily available, if you like, in the topsoil. The nutrients that aren't readily available to average plant roots that don't grow that deep, the taproot from the borage will grow down and collect this nutrients and then release it as it grows up. So it will be available to the plants with more shallow roots, if you like. You can also use borage as a nice green mulch. So if you cut it back or leave it to die off naturally, it will then naturally redistribute the nutrients that it gathers in the root. For the bigger picture, the colour is what attracts the pollinators into your garden. So we're saying about the marigolds and the borage. Marigolds attract them because of the bright open flower shape and the bright colours. So the colour is what attracts in pollinators. The flower shape does help because different pollinators are attracted to different flower shapes. Bumblebees are more attracted to flat open flowers, whereas honeybees or hoverflies are more like trumpet flowers or tubular flowers. So flower shape does matter as well. So colour and flower shape are really important factors when you're coming to the plants that you're including in your garden. So variety is important. So including a lot of different colours and flower types in your plants, you're bringing in a variety of different pollinators and beneficial insects. This is important. So beyond the point of what flowers to grow, look for the characteristics, if you like, of the flowers as well. How bright are the colours? What flower shapes are they? So it's worth looking for. These will help to support your garden. So if you have a variety of different things growing, not just growing a whole garden of daisies, because that will only support one type of pollinator or attracting one type of beneficial insect. So you want to mix it up a bit if you can. Most gardens do. But so along with bright colours and flower shapes, obviously, bright colours and flower shapes, growing herbs such as mint, sage, basil and thyme in and around the garden and the veg patch can actually create a scent barrier as well for your plants. For example, sage, when it's planted with cabbages, broccoli, kind of all the members of the brassica family, can repel a lot of pests, including the flea beetle. Now, if you have any experience growing brassicas of any kind, you'll know, including wallflowers, I will add, you will know that flea beetles can cause a lot of problems. Having this ability to repel them and protect your crop is amazing. So a lot of insects are repelled by strong scents and also hide other plants or pests that are looking to eat them. So acting like a camouflage, if you like. Using colours to attract in beneficial insects and scent to repel and hide your plants as well, it makes for a very comprehensive support system, reducing an awful lot of stress and work in your garden. So